Samar Island is the third largest island in the Philippines and has one of the most extensive forest over limestone ecosystems in the country. This ecosystem is home to a wide array of uniquely adapted flora and fauna. Samar Island is known to be one of the centers of botanical diversity in the Philippines and has been nominated as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site for its exceptional natural beauty and precious biodiversity. For these reasons, CONserve-KAIGANGAN, a biodiversity research program, was established. Kaigangan is a Samar local word that means forest over limestone. Our research program's mission is to assess and conserve the biodiversity in Samar Island's forest over limestone towards its sustainable management. One of our program's projects is the assessment of biodiversity and community structure in forest over limestone ecosystems. This component of our research aims to determine plant diversity and vegetation structure in the various habitat types in forests over limestone, to determine animal diversity associated with forest over limestone, to identify functional classification of vegetation with its associated animal diversity, and to analyze the environmental factors influencing the prevailing structure of the biota. We conducted a comprehensive biodiversity assessment of forest over limestone in the municipalities of Paranas, Taft, and Giwan with remarkable findings. A combined total of 71 plant species were recorded from these municipalities, with at least 3 tree species classified as vulnerable based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine plants. A total of 52 terrestrial vertebrate animal species were also recorded, including 5 amphibian species, 15 reptile species, 20 bird species, and 12 mammal species, with conservation statuses ranging from threatened to endangered and critically endangered, based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine fauna. This knowledge will empower our stakeholders in these areas to make appropriate research-based conservation efforts for the protection of these ecosystems that harbor an assemblage of rare, endemic, and economically important flora and fauna. Through this program, people will be equipped with knowledge on forest over limestone biodiversity, including the ecosystem services that it can offer to the community. We at CONserve-KAIGANGAN continue to further raise awareness and capacitate national and local government agencies, especially local communities living in and around Samar's Kaigangan. Samar Island is the third largest island in the Philippines and has one of the most extensive forest over limestone ecosystems in the country. This ecosystem is home to a wide array of uniquely adapted flora and fauna. Samar Island is known to be one of the centers of botanical diversity in the Philippines and has been nominated as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site for its exceptional natural beauty and precious biodiversity. For these reasons, CONserve-KAIGANGAN, a biodiversity research program, was established. Kaigangan is a Samar local word that means forest over limestone. Our research program's mission is to assess and conserve the biodiversity in Samar Island's forest over limestone towards its sustainable management. One of our program's projects is the assessment of biodiversity and community structure in forest over limestone ecosystems. This component of our research aims to determine plant diversity and vegetation structure in the various habitat types in forests over limestone, to determine animal diversity associated with forest over limestone, identify functional classification of vegetation with its associated animal diversity, and to analyze the environmental factors influencing the prevailing structure of the biota. We conducted a comprehensive biodiversity assessment of forests over limestone in the municipalities of Paranas, TAF, and P1 with remarkable findings. A combined total of 71 plant species were recorded from these municipalities, with at least 3 tree species classified as vulnerable based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine plants. A total of 52 terrestrial vertebrate animal species were also recorded, including 5 amphibian species, 15 reptile species, 20 bird species, and 12 mammal species, with conservation statuses ranging from threatened to endangered and critically endangered, based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine fauna. This knowledge will empower our stakeholders in these areas to make appropriate research-based conservation efforts for the protection of these ecosystems that harbor an assemblage of rare, endemic, and economically important flora and fauna. Through this program, people will be equipped with knowledge on forest over limestone biodiversity, including the ecosystem services that it can offer to the community. We at CONserve-KAIGANGAN continue to further raise awareness and capacitate national and local government agencies, especially local communities living in and around Samar's Kaigangan.
Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to our Kaigangan Biodiversity webinar series. I am Marnie Orejanes, your host for today. This webinar aims to raise awareness on the conservation and sustainable use of Kaigangan biodiversity through a series of online talks from our very own experts. This webinar is made possible by CONserve-KAIGANGAN, a research program implemented by the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Samar State University, and Eastern Samar State University. The program is also funded by DOST-PCAARRD. To everyone, feel free to greet and introduce yourselves through our Zoom chat box, and please include your organization and location if possible. Before we begin, we would like to remind you of some of our webinar rules. First is turn off your microphone. Second is that if you have any questions, You may send your question using our Zoom or Facebook comment section, and we will accommodate your question in the Q&A session. Lastly, to receive your e-certificate for this event, please complete or fill out our evaluation form. The link will be posted in the Zoom chat box and Facebook comment section at the end of our program. E-certificates will be sent to your email indicated in the evaluation form. At this moment, let us begin with a welcome remarks from Professor Nova Hilbano, Professor of Eastern Samar State University and Project Staff of CONserve-KAIGANGAN. Let us give a virtual round of applause for Professor Hilbano. Ma'am.
Good morning. Our project leader of the CONserve-KAIGANGAN project, Dr. Inocencio Buot, sir, the institutional partners, our resource speaker, Ms. Ren Divien Obeña, moderators, colleagues, friends, students, participants, everyone, good morning. Conservation requires knowledge and understanding of the status of the habitat, species and ecosystems, and the threats. Mobilizing biodiversity information, this is what we are doing now, is essential in transforming our conservation knowledge into action, which requires a collective effort of all stakeholders. So in our first webinar, we learned about the biodiversity at the forest over limestone ecosystems in Samar Island Natural Park. This morning, Ms. Obeña will present some of the threatened woody plant species in the Kaigangan ecosystems on Philippine Islands. I know we are here today not just to learn, but we want to be involved in conserving our Kaigangan ecosystems. Thank you very much for your presence. Again, good morning. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Hilbano, for your warm greetings to all our participants. Moving on, let us now introduce our speaker for today's webinar, Ms. Ren Divien Obeña. Ms. Ren is currently working as a University Research Associate under the CONserve-KAIGANGAN Project Phase 2. She graduated from Polytechnic University of the Philippines with a Bachelor of Science in Biology. She is currently pursuing her Master's of Science in Environmental Science at the School of Environmental Science and Management, UPLB. Her research interests include environmental ecology and conservation management. Everyone, let us listen to Ms. Ren's talk regarding some threatened woody species of Kaigangan in Philippine Islands. Let us all give a virtual clap reaction to Ms. Ren.
Hello everyone, I am Ren. Thank you for coming to our webinar series. I hope I can impart to you new knowledge about the biodiversity of forests over limestone, or locally known as Kaigangan. Allow me to share my presentation to you. So happy viewing po.
Our paper entitled Some Threatened Woody Plant Species in Forests over Limestone in the Philippine Islands. A forest over limestone is a forest formation type thriving on limestone cars, which are outcrops mainly composed of calcium carbonate. These phenomena are geomorphologic features that result from the solution of a layer of soluble bedrock, which usually carbonate rock. Forests over limestone are widely distributed in the tropics, particularly in Southeast Asia, Northern Central America, Southern Eastern Brazil, and Greater Andes. In Southeast Asia alone, the limestone landscape covers an area of 460 square kilometers.
is equivalent for about 10% of its total land area. Forests over limestone are widely distributed in this region. Karst formation support unique species diversity and endemism comparable to the species found in non-karst due to their peculiar features. The Southeast Asia karst support a very high level of endemic species and is considered as one of the biological hotspots in the world. In the Philippines, karst landscape have a total area of 35,000 square kilometers, which is about 11.7% of the country's total land area. 10,000 square kilometers are equivalent to 29% of the karst landscape in the Philippines is protected by the law. These are the pictures of soft forest over limestone that can be found in the Philippines. So the first picture is located at Iwan, Eastern Samar, while the second picture is located at Paranas. Aside from the diverse floral composition found in the forest over limestone, it also offers economic importance for the local. For example, forest over limestone can be profited for ecotourism, which can be beneficial to the communities within the area. It can also be source of raw materials for manufacturing products that can only be seen in the place. So these pictures are handicrafts that are locally produced in summer. So the raw materials are plants collected in forest over limestone. The objectives of this study are to determine the threatened plant species in the forest over limestone of the Philippines and discuss the threats of forest over limestone in the Philippines. The study sites of this paper are located in the areas of Batangas, a province found in southern Luzon, Samar Island, and Cebu, which are both located in Visayas region. A combined fieldwork and comparative literature review was done for this study. Plant species that assess using International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List of Threatened Species and has conservation status based on updated National List of Threatened Philippine Plants and their categories or DOW 2017-11 were included in the list. Published literature and other checklists regarding the thorough biodiversity of forests over limestone found in other areas of the Philippines were also reviewed. So these are the studies of Calis and Buot in Mount Tabunan in Cebu, Milio et al. In Mount Lantoy Key Biodiversity Area in Cebu, and Karingal et al. At Verde Island Passage in Batangas. A total of 98 plant species belonging to the 35 families were assessed for its conservation status. So there are 26 woody plant species that has conservation status based on the DOW 2017-11. Out of these 26 plant species, 3 plant species are critically endangered based on the DOW 2017-11. These are the species of Cyanometrus cebuensis, Despirus longiciliata, and Hopea philippinensis. The Despirus longiciliata and Hopea philippinensis are both classified as endangered by the IUCN. So as you may observe, there are differences between the conservation status of the plant species in the Philippine DOW 2017-11 and the IUCN. Perhaps in the Philippines, it was included in the list because we have seen on-the-ground activities that people are continuously utilizing them. So additionally, it may be included due to the habitat degradation in the area. The endangered status for Philippine DOW 2017-11 are as follows. So these are the Axillary rhomboides, Cinnamomum cebuense, Tectona philippinensis, and Vitex perfectora. We also indicated the IUCN status of the plant species. So based on this assessment, the species of Axillary rhomboides is classified as vulnerable, while the species of Cinnamomum cebuense and Tectona philippinensis are classified as endangered. On the other hand, 14 plant species, which are listed on the table, are classified as vulnerable based on the Philippine DAO 2017 special. So these are the species of Aquilaria communiana, Cryptocoria ampla, Despirus perea, Despirus pilicentera, Despirus pyrocarpa, Amphibia bijuga, Lichichinensis subspecies philippinensis, Pangifera altissima, Palacium lucianense, Shorea contorta, Shorea negrosensis, Shorea polysperma, Pristaniopsis decorticata, and Volaseodendron celebi. Based on the IUCN, 2 species are vulnerable, 1 species is near threatened, and 1 species is classified as data depletion, and 5 species are categorized as least concern. Lastly, 5 plant species are under the other threatened species categories of the Philippine DAO 2017-11. So these are the species of Adenantera intermedia, Artocarpus rumpenius, Cinnamomum marcanoid, Gymnostoma rumpianum, and Caribus rotundus. Among these, Adenantera intermedia and Artocarpus rumpenius are classified as vulnerable by the IUCN, while the Gymnostoma rumpianum is classified as least concern. Economic uses of some threatened woody plant species, it has conservation status. Shorea negrosensis is endemic to the Philippines. These species, together with other pterocarp species, are exploited due to its excellent source of wood for lumber. It is used for general construction, veneer, cardboard, cabinet, and furniture making. This pterocarp species is among the Philippine hardwoods exported to its international customers. In some provinces of the Philippines, it's also used as a fuel wood by the locals. The Tectona philippinensis is recommended for heavy-duty structural uses such as for building ships and boats, bridges, mine timber, bows and beams, railway carriage, and for heavy-duty furniture, carpentry, and woodworking. It is also used as a firewood locals. The Walaseodendron celebicum was preferred tree species for smallholder forest taken Leyte. It is also known to be used for furniture making in this province. The Artocarpus rumivenus, an endemic species in the Philippines, is used for wood carving in its bounds. The Aquilaria comediana is known as a source of copper, a highly prized resin with multiple economic uses. The Hopea philippinensis are harvested for food construction in Leyte. This species occasionally enters the commercial market. The Cinnamomum cebuense is used as a source of spices. This species is also known for its medicinal properties. Threats and conservation concerns. Several factors contribute in creating drastic impacts on forests over limestone. In Southeast Asian forests, threats include limestone hardening, land use change, deforestation, hunting, illegal logging, and habitat degradation. The steady increase in human population also endangers these fragile ecosystems because of the increasing consumption of natural resources. Activities such as wood harvesting for charcoal and collection of endemic plants for medicinal and ornamental purposes also exacerbated the degradation of the biodiversity in the forest landscape. All of these factors pose a threat to the natural landscape and biodiversity of forests over limestone. Prominent forest cover loss had been experienced by Samar Island in the previous years. This was attributed to the extensive logging and timber cutting, rattan extraction, and paying, the clearing of land through slash and burn agriculture in the province.
In Mountain Toy, people observe a rapid deterioration of its forest stocks caused by illegal cutting, illegal hunting, and with the rampant conversion of forests to agriculture. Human activities like indiscriminate cutting due to expansion of coastal or tourism area, in the case of tectona and associated plant species, along Verde Island Passage, trigger to the continued decline of population of these threatened species, most of which are endemic and can only be found in the Philippines. This study revealed the diversity and uniqueness of the forest over limestone ecosystem of the Philippines. Threatened species and their uses were also noted in this checklist to highlight the need for the conservation of these species. The conservation and preservation of the forest over limestone will contribute in addressing the sustainable development goals, such as SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities, SDG 12, responsible consumption and production, SDG 13, climate action, SDG 15, life on land, and SDG 17, partnerships for the goals. The continuous degradation of the forest over limestone in the Philippines imposes threats to its natural resources, including its floral composition, that are known to be highly vulnerable to disturbances. It is important that the local communities to be encouraged and empowered to realize their ability and capacity to conserve the forest over limestone. Additionally, without the proper and strict implementation of the laws, the prolonged exposure of the floral and faunal species residing in this ecosystem to the anthropogenic and natural disturbances may result in the decline of their population or eventually lead to their extinction. We would like to acknowledge the funding agency of this research and our partners, the Department of Science and Technology, and Philippine Council for Agriculture and Aquatic Research Development, that serve as the funding agency of the program, Department of Environment and Natural Resources Region 8, and Samar Island Natural Park Protected Area Management Board for the issuance of the Gatitus permit, the DOST Science Education Institute, Cebu Technological University, and the People's Organizations in Samar, which includes Pasaranan na Organisasyon Hansan Isidro Paranas, and tour guide and boat operators for Environmental Development Organization or TURTIDO that aids us during our field work.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ren, for sharing and enlightening us about some threatened species of forest over limestone or kaigangan in the Philippines. At this point, let us now proceed on the question and answer portion of this event. Just to remind everyone that if you have any questions to our speaker, please type it into our Zoom chat box or in our Facebook comment section. Also, to receive your e-certificates for this event, please complete or fill out the evaluation form. The link will be posted in the Zoom chat box or in the Facebook comment section at the end of our program. E-certificates will be sent to the email indicated in the evaluation form. Okay, we will now start accommodating the questions from our dear participants. So my question of okay, at this moment, we will now ask the speaker if she's ready to answer our first question from the audience. Are you ready, Ms. Ren?
Yes, already na.
Okay, so we will now read the first question. So the first question is, why is it that, or why is Kaigangan biodiversity important?
As you can see in my presentation, due to the unique characteristics of the forest over limestone, it caters high level endemic species. So this is attributed to the hydrology, geology, and microclimate of the area. And as I've discussed earlier, the forest over limestone hosts numerous threatened species that needed protection. So aside from the biodiversity, we can also look at the perspective on what we can benefit, for example, the economic benefits, such as the ecotourism I've mentioned earlier, which is located in sa Samar Island Natural Park, and then yung raw materials that get obtained dun sa forest over limestone.
Okay, thank you. So, based on your observation, what are the threats that may compromise these species to be vulnerable?
Sorry, can you come again?
My question is that what are the threats na nakikita mo doon sa Samar na posibleng maging dahilan na magiging vulnerable yung mga species natin doon?
First, siguro yung anthropogenic disturbances. So, kahit na parang protected yung areas, may mga times din na yung may mga parang illegal cutting, yung mga ganon. So, as dun din since nga rampant siya sa Samar Island, sa mga news na nababasa ko. And then, siguro yung sa climate change, syempre parang yung mga continuous na higher intensity ng parang mga bagyo na dumadaan sa atin. So parang recently lang then nadaanan na tayo ng bagyo and masyadong madami yung naapektuhan dun sa areas dito lalo sa Eastern Visayas region.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is that when you conducted your study, what are the challenges have you encountered during the conduct of your study?
Siguro yung isa na medyo difficult is yung rugged terrain ng mismong forest over limestone. So dun kasi medyo patusok, hindi siya ganun kataas and medyo may mga steep part lang. And then yun nga parang yung mismong lalakaran mo is ang dami niyang patusok-tusok. So need mo talaga ng guide dun sa mga locals. And then ang dami niyang maliliit na sinkhole na malalalim. So yun yung isa. Then yung pangalawa na medyo naging hindrance sa aming field work is yung military conflict dun sa area. So sadly, supposedly for yung study site namin, since medyo mainit dun sa isang area, hindi na kami nakapunta.
Okay, so in your opinion, what are your recommendations para ma-lessen yung mga anthropogenic activities, or what can you advise to the community or the government to lessen these anthropogenic activities that are happening in Kaigangan or in Samar Island?
To be honest, dun sa yung nasa currently kasi yung project natin is nasa phase 2 na siya. So yung phase 2 ng project will provide localized conservation strategies on the woody plants of the forest over limestone ecosystem. So to give you a brief background, so meron tayong parang yung LCPI, yung gagamitan naming index, is composed of different variables. So yung harvesting risk, economic use, cultural use, and species distribution, and then relative frequency. So from that data, we will try to identify yung species na needed for the conservation. And then hopefully, makapag-produce kami ng a draft para sa conservation management ng mga species na ito.
Okay, so another question from Ma'am Salvador. Is your group educating the tour guides and the communities adjacent to Basay to the threatened plants and its uses found in its forest, or any other IEC activities, or can we volunteer with these activities?
So dun po sa first question, sa is your group educating tour guides and communities? Yung project po namin contributed po in terms of our program top the people's organization in the area. So we have the BOSIs and Torpedo. So nag-conduct po kami ng training. So the past trainings include the geotagging of mother trees, discussing the biodiversity of the ecotourism trail of Samar Island Natural Park, how to conduct floral biodiversity assessment, and then sila rin po yung mga nakasama namin sa fieldwork. So which we are very thankful po talaga sa pag-accommodate sa amin. So during that time, we were able to train them the application of the techniques used in the fieldwork. And then for so for po, wala pa po kaming mga activities for the na pwede po kayong mag-volunteer. But as long as po na magkaroon po or makapag-plan po kami, which is a good idea po, we will announce po sa aming Facebook page.
Okay, so for another question naman is, can biodiversity research aid the irreversible effect of climate change by 2030?
I think po any conservation efforts really helps po towards our targets and goals. Pero po, syempre po, marami pa rin po siyang component to achieve yun. So I think na hopefully po na maging holistic po yung approach natin, not only in the science sectors, sa mga scientists natin, but also in different sectors like the government and the public and private sectors. I think kapag ka po doon tayo nagkasama-sama, mas magiging effective yung ating conservation management and in achieving our goals po dun sa ating target.
Okay, so for the last questions are, what are your advice for the younger generation, especially those those young ones that live in Samar Island, on how to protect and conserve this vulnerable or threatened species?
Dun sa may times paano ko ba sabihin? Merong times na medyo mahirap talagang mag-conduct ng research, lalo na pagka, for example, nga, yung terrain natin is medyo mahirap. Pero ano lang, at the end of the day, titingnan mo kung ba't mo rin siya ginagawa for the love of the nature, parang gano'n. So if you're napapagod ka or something na medyo nahirapan ka din, babalik at babalik ka kung bakit ka dun sa nag-umpisa. And then, ano po yung next na question? Medyo mahaba. On how to protect. Okay. So, ayun po. As I've mentioned earlier po, siguro mag-start po tayo din sa baselining. So, katulad po ng sa project namin, ayun, since wala pa rin pong baseline, ang hirap po magkaroon ng conservation management effort. So first is baselining po muna, and then yung biodiversity assessment to know what is in the area. So, and then katulad po ng ulit sa project namin, sa project 2, we are now prioritizing locally kung ano po yung dapat i-conserve. So after po nun, possible po na it's either we will also tap with the locals kung ano po yung conservation management that would be effective to them. Kasi ang hirap mag-introduce ng something na for example, ng mga policies or plans na hindi din nila gusto. So hand in hand with the LGUs and with the locals po, kung how to preserve this natural resources.
Okay, thank you so much to our speaker for answering the questions of our dear participants. Meanwhile, due to limited time and there's no more questions, so next is that no more questions. So you can, or if you have questions in mind, you may contact our guest speaker through her email address posted in the Zoom or Facebook comment section. Or if you have more further queries, you may reach the CONserve-KAIGANGAN program with the following contact information sent in the Zoom chat box. Again, thank you everyone for your questions. So for now, we will proceed to the issuance of the certificate to our guest speaker. We would like to extend our deepest appreciation to Ms. Ren Divien Obeña for serving as a resource speaker during the webinar paper presentation entitled Some Threatened Woody Plant Species of Forests over Limestone in the Philippine Islands in the 2022 Kaigangan Biodiversity Webinar Series held on April 26, 2022 via Zoom, signed by Dr. Inocencio Buot, Professor and Project Leader in CONserve-KAIGANGAN. Again, thank you so much to our speaker, Ms. Ren, for sharing her valuable ideas and knowledge for today's webinar. To everyone, the evaluation form is now available in the Zoom chat box and Facebook comment section. Please complete or fill out the evaluation form to receive your e-certificates. Also, please be reminded that the evaluation form will be closed 48 hours after its posting. Before we will end this webinar, may we request everyone to turn on your camera for a group photo. Okay, we will take a photo. Okay, ready na ba ang lahat? So I'll start to take a photo, screenshots. 3, 2. Okay, next page. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, the link for the evaluation form is now shared in the Zoom chat box. And we will request everyone to please complete or fill out the evaluation form provided to receive your e-certificate. Also, please be reminded that the evaluation form will be closed 48 hours after its posting. Please be informed that we will have Professor Desa Marie Antoinette Fernandez as our next guest speaker for our Kaigangan Biodiversity Webinar Series in May 2022. On behalf of the program team, we would like to thank all of the participants who joined us in our online event. We hope you have learned a lot and would be able to apply it in your respective field. If you want to know more about CONserve-KAIGANGAN program, you may visit our website, Facebook, and YouTube page, or you can send us an email. The link are posted in the comment section. Again, please do not forget to fill out the evaluation form to receive your e-certificates for today's event. Okay, that brings us to the end of our webinar for today. Thank you once again for attending and participating in our webinar for today. Thank you very much.
Samar Island is the third largest island in the Philippines and has one of the most extensive forest over limestone ecosystems in the country. This ecosystem is home to a wide array of uniquely adapted flora and fauna. Samar Island is known to be one of the centers of botanical diversity in the Philippines and has been nominated as a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site for its exceptional natural beauty and precious biodiversity. For these reasons, CONserve-KAIGANGAN, a biodiversity research program, was established. Kaigangan is a Samar local word that means forest over limestone. Our research program's mission is to assess and conserve the biodiversity in Samar Island's forest over limestone towards its sustainable management. One of our program's projects is the assessment of biodiversity and community structure in forest over limestone ecosystems. This component of our research aims to determine plant diversity and vegetation structure in various habitat types in forests over limestone, to determine animal diversity associated with forest over limestone, to identify functional classification of vegetation with its associated animal diversity, and to analyze the environmental factors influencing the prevailing structure of the biota. We conducted a comprehensive biodiversity assessment of forests over limestone in the municipalities of Paranas, Taft, and Giwan with remarkable findings. A combined total of 71 plant species were recorded from these municipalities, with at least 3 tree species classified as vulnerable based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine plants. A total of 52 terrestrial vertebrate animal species were also recorded, including 5 amphibian species, 15 reptile species, 20 bird species, and 12 mammal species, with conservation statuses ranging from threatened to endangered and critically endangered, based on the DENR updated national list of threatened Philippine fauna. This knowledge will empower our stakeholders in these areas to make appropriate research-based conservation efforts for the protection of these ecosystems that harbor an assemblage of rare, endemic, and economically important flora and fauna. Through this program, people will be equipped with knowledge on forest over limestone biodiversity, including the ecosystem services that it can offer to the community. We at CONserve-KAIGANGAN continue to further raise awareness and capacitate national and local government agencies, especially local communities living in and around Samar's Kaigangan.